Hello and welcome back to Inside the 20. Today, we will be going over the Week 3 recap of the NFL. Make sure to check out my 1 and 2 from the previous weeks. Let's get into it. So, starting with my first game of the week, the Eagles get the win 33-26 over the Rams. The Eagles were able to pull off an incredible 33-26 comeback win over Los Angeles, capped by a wild special teams touchdown from Jordan Davis. The 336-pound defensive lineman blocked Joshua Carty's potential game-tying field goal in the final seconds, scooped it up, and rumbled 61 yards for a touchdown, reaching an astonishing 18.59 miles per hour. The fastest speed by any player over 330 pounds since at least 2017. It was the Eagles' second blocked kick of the fourth quarter, the first coming from Jalen Carter, and it was able to seal their 12th straight home victory while pushing them to 3-0 on the season. Jalen Hurts was the other star, throwing for 204 yards and 3 second-half touchdowns, including a clutch 4-yard strike to Devontae Smith on 4th and goal to erase a 19-point deficit. A.J. Brown also shined with 109 receiving yards, helping fuel the biggest home comeback in Eagles history since 1988. For the Rams, Matthew Stafford passed for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Puka Nacua hauled in 12 catches for 112 yards. Carty made 4 field goals, giving Los Angeles a 26-7 lead in the third quarter before the Eagles were able to storm back. Despite their strong start, the Rams couldn't close it out, with Stafford saying, "We had our chance at the end of the game, and it didn't go our way." Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley, who gashed the Ravens for over 200 yards in both meetings last season, was held in check, rushing for just 46 yards on the day and logging his third straight subpar performance. The Eagles, now 19-1 over their last 20 games, proved once again they can win in dramatic fashion, leaning on stars on both sides of the ball to stay unbeaten. Going to my second game of the week, give me Tampa Bay over New York, getting the win 29-27. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers rallied once again for a dramatic 29-27 win over the New York Jets, improving to 3-0 for the first time since 2005. Baker Mayfield led the game-winning drive in the final minute, setting up Chase McLaughlin's 36-yard field goal as time expired. Mayfield threw for 233 yards and a touchdown, while also adding 44 rushing yards, continuing his resurgence since taking over Tom Brady's former role 2 years ago. McLaughlin went 5 for 6 on field goals, hitting from 54, 33, 28, 55, and the game winner, despite having a 43-yard attempt blocked and returned for a touchdown by Will McDonald late in the fourth quarter. The Buccaneers became the first team in the Super Bowl era to win in the final minute of regulation in each of their first 3 games, cementing the franchise's best start in 20 years. The Jets, now 0-3, nearly pulled off a stunning comeback, erasing a 17-point deficit in the fourth quarter behind Tyrod Taylor, who threw for 197 yards and 2 touchdowns in place of the injured Justin Fields. Garrett Wilson hauled in 10 receptions for 84 yards and a score, while Allen Lazard, a name nobody has heard of in about 3 years, added another touchdown grab. However, Tampa Bay's defense made key plays, including Jamal Dean's 55-yard pick six and Anton Winfield's Jr.'s forced fumble. Mike Evans added a touchdown catch before leaving with a hamstring injury, and the Bucs overcame 14 penalties to secure the win. That's a lot of up-downs. Wearing their throwback creamsicle uniforms in front of the franchise legends, Tampa Bay improved to 3-0 for only the 5th time in team history, while the Jets fall to 0-3, familiar fate under first-year head coach Aaron Glenn. To my final game of the week, give me the Ravens and the Lions. The Lions pull this one out, getting the win 38-30 on the road. The Lions delivered a statement on Monday night, overpowering the heavy Baltimore Ravens 38-30 behind a dominant ground gamers and resilient defense. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery each ran for 2 tutties, and Montgomery piled up 151 rushing yards, including a 31-yard score in the closing minutes. The Lions outrushed Baltimore 224-85 and sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times while also bottling him up when he tried to escape the pocket. Jared Goff added a touchdown pass to Amon-Ra while also converting a pivotal 4th and 2 late to help seal Detroit's first ever road win against the Ravens, absolutely putting the Ravens defense in the ground and also my hopes of winning my fantasy game. Aggressive on 4th down throughout, the Lions converted all 3 of their attempts, one on a gadget play that gave them the lead for good. Jackson kept Baltimore close though. He threw 3 touchdown passes, including 2 to Mark Andrews, who I had on my bench, and Derrick Henry scored on a 28-yard run. However, Henry also lost a costly fumble, which was also costly to my fantasy team. And the Ravens couldn't capitalize on a goal line chance earlier in the game. Detroit's 98 and 96-yard touchdown drives underscored their physical dominance up front, as Baltimore's depleted defense struggled without key linemen Named Matabuke and Kyle Van Noy. The victory snapped a 5-game losing streak against Baltimore and marked Detroit's first road win in the series, a sharp contrast from the 38-6 loss they suffered to the Ravens in 2023. With their second straight high-scoring performance, the Lions, now 2-1, looked every bit like a contender under Dan Campbell. Going to the other games, to our Thursday night game, the Buffalo Bills beat the Dolphins at home 31-21. Josh Allen threw for 213 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Bills beat the Dolphins by 10. James Cook rushed for 108 yards and a touchdown, while Shakir added a go-ahead touchdown. And Jackson Dawkins and Dalton Kincaid also scored. Terrell Bernard sealed the win with a late interception, while Tua Tagovailoa finished with 146 yards and a pick. The Bills, improving to 3-0, extended their dominance over Miami with 14 wins in the last 15. 2, Cleveland, the Browns somehow beat the Packers 13-10. Andre Schmidt kicked a 55-yard game-winning field goal as time expired to give the Browns a 13-10 comeback win over Green Bay. Joe Flacco threw for 142 yards and threw an interception. Winshawn Judkins rushed for 94 yards and a late touchdown, and Grant Delpit had a key interception. Shelby Harris blocked a potential game-winning Packers field goal, and Jordan Love finished with 183 yards and a touchdown. The Browns, getting their first win of the season, snapped an 8-game losing streak and pulled off the first NFL comeback of its kind in the franchise history. 2, Tennessee, the Colts get the win 41-20 over Tennessee. Jonathan Taylor ran for 102 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Colts beat the Titans 41-20 to start 3-0. Daniel Jones threw for 228 yards and a touchdown. Kenny Moore returned an interception, and Tyquan Lewis had 2 sacks. Cam Ward threw for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Tennessee never recovered. Indianapolis dominated early, taking a 17-3 lead in the first quarter, and remains the only undefeated team in the AFC South. Going to my team's game, the Vikings beat the Bengals 48-10. Oh my gosh. Let's just get this over with, bro. Carson Wentz threw for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Vikings crushed the Bengals 48-10 in his Minnesota debut. Jordan Mason rushed for 116 yards and 2 scores. Will Richard hit a 62-yard field goal, and cornerback Isaiah Rodgers scored twice and forced 3 turnovers. Jake Browning, oh my lord. Jake Browning threw for 140 yards and a late touchdown, but also had 2 interceptions, while Cincinnati managed just 53 rushing yards. 53 rushing yards. The Vikings posted their most lopsided win since 1998, dominating on both sides of the ball. Gosh. Now, I would also like to address Zach Taylor, okay? For an ownership that has historically struggled, we all know this. Having a head coach who doesn't hold players accountable is not going to help this franchise that is going downward really freaking fast. He's going to need to step up, okay? These fans deserve a coach who actually cares and takes matters seriously. I don't want to say he doesn't care, but he needs to be addressing these things better. Rather than shrugging off, I don't know, the Bengals' worst loss in franchise history by saying we have to be better and I know these guys will deliver. Every coach says it. That's copy and paste from freaking ChatGPT. We have to be better. No, duh. You lose by 38 points. What do you expect? Oh, their only way from here is up. Like, no. The Bengals need to figure something out. And I get they're 2-1, but it's not going well. Joe Burrow's out till mid-December, and they have to go on the road to Denver on Monday night, at home against Detroit, on the road against Green Bay. Then they have Pittsburgh on Thursday night. All 4 are very, very losable games. Bengals need to get their act together. To New England, the Steelers get the dub 21-14 over the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers threw for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a go-ahead 17-yard strike to Calvin Austin, as the Steelers beat the Patriots 21-17. Kenneth Gainwell added a 1-yard touchdown, and Pittsburgh's defense forced 5 turnovers, including fumbles by Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson to secure its first win at New England since 2008. Drake May passed for 268 yards and 2 touchdowns to Hunter Henry, but also threw a pick, and the Patriots struggled with ball security throughout. The Steelers overcame penalties and negative plays to pull off the dub. 2. Washington, the Commanders win it 41-24 over Las Vegas. Marcus Mariota threw for 206 yards and a touchdown, while also rushing for 40 yards and a score as the Commanders BTA'd the Raiders. Jeremy McNichols ran for a 60-yard touchdown as Ja'Cory Bill Krosky Merritt added a 1-yard rushing score. And Jalen Lane returned and punt 90 yards for a touchdown. Chris Rodriguez contributed 39 rushing yards, and Geno Smith threw for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns to Trey Tucker, but the Raiders were sacked 5 times. To the Falcons game. GOG, the Falcons. They lose to the Panthers, to Bryce Young, 30-0. Bryce Young ran for a touchdown, Chau Smith-Wade returned an interception for a score, and Ryan Fitzgerald made 3 field goals as the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-0 for their first win. Carolina's defense forced 3 turnovers and limited Atlanta's offense, while Young was 16 of 24 for 121 yards, as well as Rico Dowell adding a 1-yard touchdown score. To Jacksonville, the Jags win it 17-10 over the Texans. Brian Thomas Jr. caught a key 46-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne scored on the next play, and the Jaguars held on to beat the Texans 17-10. Jacksonville's defense forced 3 turnovers, including a late interception by Antonio Johnson, touchdown, and 2 picks. To the Chargers. This is actually a very entertaining game. Didn't watch much of it, but I did see SportsCenter, and SportsCenter is really all you need. Chargers get the win over Denver 23-20. Keenan Allen caught a late 20-yard touchdown pass from Justin Herbert, who led the Chargers on a final drive, setting up Cameron Dicker's 43-yard field goal as Los Angeles beat the Denver Broncos to start 3-0 for the first time since 2002. Herbert threw for 300 yards and with a touchdown and 1 interception, while rookie Omarion Hampton added 70 yards and a score. Denver committed 10 penalties, managed just 9 first downs, and lost for the 2nd straight week. To Seattle, the Seahawks put BTA to the Saints, 44-13. I really can't be talking because my Bengals lost 48-10. But Torrey Holt returned a punt 95 yards for the Seahawks and caught a touchdown from Sam Darnold as Seattle crushed the Saints. With Kenneth Walker adding 2 short scores and Jason Myers hitting a 56-yard field goal, Darnold was 14 of 18 for 208 yards with a touchdown, while JSN added 5 catches for 96 yards and a score. New Orleans fell to 0-3, committing 11 penalties and allowing its most points in a half since 1973. To Chicago, the Bears 31, the Cowboys 14. Caleb Williams threw 4 touchdowns, including a 65-yard score to rookie Luther Burden, as the Bears handed Ben Johnson his first win as a head coach with a 31-14 victory over the Cowboys on Sunday. Chicago totaled 385 yards, adding scores from Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, and DJ Moore, as well as forcing 3 interceptions, 2 by Tremaine Edmonds, while Dallas struggled without CeeDee Lamb for most of the game, and Dak Prescott was limited to 251 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions, while Brandon Aubrey hit a 53-yard field goal to set a franchise record. The 49ers at home edge out the Cardinals. Mac Jones, yes, Mac Jones, led the 49ers on a late drive to set up Eddie Piñeiro's game-winning 35-yard field goal, giving San Francisco a 16-15 win over the Cardinals and keeping their perfect 3-0 start intact. Despite losing Nick Bosa to injury and starting backup quarterback Mac Jones after Brock Purdy's absence, San Francisco overcame a fourth-quarter safety and trading touchdowns with Arizona, with rookie Upton Stout's key defensive play helped sealing the win. To the final game, Kansas City on Sunday night wins it over New York, 22-9. Patrick Mahomes led the Chiefs to their first win of the season, overcoming early mistakes and a backwards pass to help Kansas City beat the Giants 22-9 and avoid an 0-3 start. Mahomes threw a key touchdown to Tyquan Thornton and to set up Kareem Hunt's 1-yard score. While the defense limited New York and shut down top receiver Malik Neighbors, the Giants fell to 0-3, with Russell Wilson throwing 2 interceptions and rookie Cam Scatterboo carrying the offensive load. Alrighty, that's it. That'll be my recap for week 3. If y'all stayed to the end, y'all real appreciate it. Thank y'all for watching. And yeah, please make sure to go check my other ones out, 1 and 2, if y'all did not watch those. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. This has been Inside the 20, week 3. Let's go, Jackson Dart. Peace.